Do you often find yourself in a situation where you are handling tasks like sifting through input reports, collating and combining them to form a final report where there are many elements to be recalculated, derived, and reviewed meticulously? It can be super tedious. Some of these tasks may take several hours to multiple days and are error-prone at the least. Welcome to this video. Today, we are diving into something really exciting, using Google Gemini to automatically generate a balance sheet from multiple datasets in Google Sheets. Now, instead of manually compiling and calculating everything yourself, you are going to do AI to do the heavy lifting. Imagine this. You've got multiple datasets, maybe some income details, assets, liabilities, all in one Google Sheet. With just a few steps, Google Gemini will pull everything together and generate a polished balance sheet for you automatically. In this video, I'll walk you through how to set up Google Gemini, connect it to your Google Sheets, and watch it to create a balance sheet in real time. It's all about saving time, reducing errors, and letting AI make your financial reporting easier. Hello and welcome to this demo. In here, we are going to see how we can create a balance sheet automatically using another AI tool, which is Google Gemini. Now, in the previous demo earlier in this lesson, we have seen how we can create a custom GPT and create an accounts payable report automatically. And we have seen how we could configure the custom GPT and its various parameters or fields, and also attach a knowledge base or 3 knowledge bases, which are the input reports. Now, in this case of Google Gemini, we are not going to use the Gemini interface itself, but we are going to go to Google Sheets and use the power of Google Gemini LLM to automatically generate the balance sheet from 3 input reports. But before we start our demo, we have to understand a couple of things. Number one, using Gemini in Google Workspace applications like Google Sheets, Google Docs, Gmail, etc. is a paid feature. So if you have a Gemini Advanced subscription, only then you will be able to access Gemini and use its power in automating various aspects within the Google Workspace applications like Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Gmail. So if you come to this URL, which talks about upgrading to Google Advanced, you have the information available over here, which talks about subscription to Gemini Advanced, which is part of the Google One Premium paid plan. Right, so you need to have this plan, which costs about $20 to $23 based on the country that you are in. And once you have this subscription done, you will be able to access Gemini from within the Google Workspace application. Now, it is possible that in your country, Google Gemini is offering free subscription period. Okay, we are back into the Gemini interface. We have said we are not going to use Gemini interface for creating this automation, but there is one thing that we need to do, which is going to the setting, going to the extensions, and making sure that we have this switch on. So that means that Gemini is connected to the Google Workspace applications like Google Mail, Google Docs, Google Drive, etc. Once this is done, we will proceed to the next step, which is going to the Google Sheets, which contain our base information for creating the balance sheet. So there are going to be 3 inputs that we are going to study one by one. Number one is a liabilities report, which has liability type and the liability amount and the due date. This is the first component of the balance sheet. Then we have the assets report, which has the assets type, assets name, and the amount, the value of the asset that we have listed. And the third input is the sample shareholder equity information containing common stock, retained earnings, treasury stock, additional paid in capital, and other comprehensive income. Right? So these are the 3 inputs that we are going to take, and we are going to create our balance sheet automatically. Now, what we are going to do is that we will copy each of them and paste it in a blank file, okay? And we will name it also. Okay, our base data collation is done. We have taken the 3 reports, the sample shareholder equity statement, the assets report, and the liabilities report, and we have taken them and we have pasted them in this new document, new Google Sheet. Now, if you go to the top right hand corner, you can see this AI symbol saying Ask Gemini. So what we are going to do is we will click on this, and you can see that we are asked for a prompt over here. So now it can do the magic using the power of Gemini LLM. Let's use that power of Gemini LLM to create our balance sheet. We have used a prompt, create the balance sheet from the 3 reports in this sheet, assets, liabilities, and shareholder equity. And let's see how it can create the balance sheet automatically. All right, there you go. It has created our balance sheet. It has all this information over here, cash and cash equivalents, account receivable, and all the assets information, the liabilities information, and the shareholder equity information. And this is our balance sheet created. Now it also shows you the details over here, and it gives us an option to insert this information in the sheet or close it, that is discarding it. So we select insert, and you can see that the base information, the input information is over here, and it has created the balance sheet. However, we would like to stretch Gemini a little bit more. So when it created the balance sheet, it has taken this information from the 3 input reports, and it has used the values over here as values directly. So that means the static values. Now, if the input data changes in this Google Sheet, it doesn't update the balance sheet. So we will try to do that, and we will say recreate the balance sheet by inserting formulae so that any change to the underlying data will update the balance sheet. So we want the formula instead of the values. I mean, of course, we will see the values, but we want to use the values in terms of formula so that the input data changes, the balance sheet will also change. Okay, so let's review the information that it has generated. It has generated the balance sheet all right. So the account heads and the balance are remaining same. And additionally, it has created the formulae, and let me copy one of the formula and paste it over here, and it gives us the same information that was created originally under the balance column. So if I take any of this formula over here and copy it, it will give us the information. So it has created the formulae correctly, and it is able to refer to the original cells. Now let us stretch our automation a little bit more. In the first instance, it has created our balance sheet by pulling in the information, pulling in the values from the original reports, okay, and created this account heads and the balance amount shown over here. Now these are, if we change any of the input values, generated balance sheet does not change. So what we want is that recreate the balance sheet by inserting formulae referring to the original cells from input report so that any change to the underlying data will update the balance sheet, and see if it can perform that. So it has created something. So it has created the balance sheet again. So the first 2 columns are as the original one, and third column that it has generated now, it has referred to original cells. So let us first insert it into the current sheet and then validate whether it has done it correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this formula and I'm going to paste it here, and it refers correctly. If I just take this formula over here and just copy it, it is able to refer to the original cell correctly. So in this example, we have created a balance sheet automatically by collating 3 input reports. One is the assets report, one is the liabilities one, and the shareholders equity. And using these 3 input reports in our Google Sheet, we have generated our balance sheet automatically by using the power of Google Gemini LLM. So with the knowledge gained in this example, you can also use the power of Gemini to automate the creation of various reports within Google Workspace application, namely Google Sheets and Google Docs. And that's it. You have just seen how easy it is to use Google Gemini to automatically generate a balance sheet from multiple datasets in Google Sheets. With this setup, you can save a lot of time, reduce errors, and streamline your reporting process. Now you have got a powerful tool that turns complex data into clear financial reports effortlessly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Now I have a question for you.